Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Umahi, all Southeast governors backing Tinubu for second term. Gowon proposes ECOWAS name change to bring back Mali and others. No governors in rivers when I declared emergency, President tells Supreme Court. PDP senators differ with governors over coalition. Reps panel Ohanese's seek independent probe of UTME glitches. What retention of lending rate at 27.5% means for economy, says experts. Senators not elected to fight, President Akpabio declares. And EFCC hands over Emefiele linked 753 Abuja duplexes to government. Okay, which story are we starting with? Which one?
Yeah,
the houses.
I know that's the one you want.
So, after final forfeiture at the Federal High Court in December last year, the EFCC have finally packed the 753 units of duplexes and handed it over to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. And the minister has confirmed this. The Minister for Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, has praised the EFCC and confirmed this. He said this is a significant milestone in our collective effort and determination to ensure that recovery of assets are put to productive use. So I'm grateful for this, but a very linked story. Senator Idiat Adebule of Lagos West has also moved. Yes, she has moved a bill. The bill she's moving on the floor of the House on process of crime and how it should be handled as scaled second reading. This bill, according to her, proposes to establish a central agency to take over management and disposal of recovered assets and function. This function presently is shared by 18 government agencies.
Imagine.
They go down the jam head.
We can't even know who the stuff is going to.
Exactly. So this bill, I hope that finally passes into law.
So one agency will have
agency handles it. And so we will know where we are holding hand on the matter. Because imagine if this agency was already existing, this bill has already established one agency.
We'll know what it's doing with the
we'll know where we are going for our units of the 7.
We'll even know where to apply it for the...
Because it should be 100% transparent. Yeah, they said they will be, but...
Also, 18 agencies, it's difficult to know where to...
So I'm slightly worried about the quality of those buildings. You know, say when they thief money,
they rush
Konima burial mentality. Now, Koni people go build the house. So let's just know, but they should do quality check. The urban people should make sure that, you know,
let's take one more story.
I have the Senate President, God's will, Akpabio, yesterday defended the cordial relationship between the legislature and executive arm of government. He said federal lawmakers were not elected to engage in political combat with the executive, and that they're expected to collaborate with the executive on policies and advance national development. So it was being featured in the forthcoming State House documentary marking the second anniversary of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, also highlighted the achievements of the 10th National Assembly. He said, when elected into the National Assembly, whether in the Senate or House of Reps, your constituents will not give you boxing gloves. It is not a boxing tournament. You're here to work in a bipartisan manner for the interest of Nigerians. And he said that the statement from the special advisor to the president also says that the executive legislature, the cordial relationship is not a sign of weakness, but a deliberate alignment based on shared national vision. And that if all your energy is spent fighting the executive, who then works for the people? Another part of it, the Senate President also urges Nigerians to embrace entrepreneurship, saying that small-scale production ventures can be successful if well managed. They're also looking to pass a bill. I hope I'm getting that right. And which is that it will prioritize the procurement of locally assembled automobiles. This is key to reducing capital flight and reviving our industry. So what they're saying is that they are going to encourage that we buy cars that are assembled here in Nigeria. They'll give them, priority before you buy the ones that you have to import. This is something that they are hoping to push legally.
So the House of Representatives Committee on Basic Education Examination Bodies has called for an independent probe into the human errors that disrupted this year's Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, that's the UTME. And addressing reporters at the National Assembly yesterday in Abuja, the committee chair, Ofoji Oboku, said they are working with Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, that's JAM, on reforms to restore credibility to the exam process. According to him, he said one of the measures under consideration is deployment of independent monitors in the 6 geopolitical zones to ensure transparency and accountability in the future. He says, we apologize to candidates, parents and public. This disruption is unprecedented in the history of JAMB and must not happen again. Also went ahead to praise the JAMB Registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, for his transparency and public apology, but he maintained that the errors were avoidable. So he says the registrar has shown courage by accepting responsibility, but we must be clear, this was a presentable or preventable lapse, as students and the nation deserve better. So they are waiting for the lawmakers to go ahead and see how they can make sure that those things are set in the 6 geopolitical zones.
So I have the story from the only living founding father of ECOWAS, that is General Gowon, who expressed sadness over the exit of 3 countries that were member states of the ECOWAS bloc. He reminisced about how they, as founding fathers, put together ECOWAS to unite the West African region, and how even when he was, a coup took him out of being the president, there was fear that ECOWAS would dissolve, but the Togo president and other members of state president then had a meeting with General Muritala, who was then the president, and they were able to sustain ECOWAS, and that as at this time, we never thought it would ever happen that any member state would exit ECOWAS. And the reason for their exit is obvious, in that they made economical decisions and they were being fined by ECOWAS and being sanctioned by ECOWAS instead of being supported by ECOWAS, and they left ECOWAS. That's the 3 Sahel states. So he was proposing that maybe ECOWAS should change their name from being economic community of West African states to the economic community of, not instead of West African states, they should include West Africa and the Sahel region, because these 3 states are actually in the Sahel, that they've appealed for that name change before, that maybe if we change the name and include Sahel region, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, this might cause a change in their attitude and bring them back into ECOWAS. I think it's a good thing to do. I also think that reducing the sanction on them and thinking more of what's the impact for the entire West African zone and Sahel region will be more important than just saying we're placing sanction because of the decisions they made within their country to better their own country.
Moving on now to the Punch. May 29th, Tinubu to review ministers' scorecards. Federal government to auction 753 duplexes from Mefele. Missing Lagos bankers' corpse found in morgue. OPS, organized private sector, fault MPC over 27.5% interest rate. Immigration mobilizes joint task force against terror threats. Traditional Council protests as Oyo Assembly backtracks. Dollar outflow for fuel imports surges by 119%. Federal panel submits key report on census funding, and states to draft new framework for local government autonomy. Let's take any story before the break.
Okay, so one Olofofo from the Central Result Delivery and Coordination Unit with the presidency. This is a unit headed by Hadiza Bala Usman and reviews all ministerial performances. I've Ofofo to the Punch that they have gathered it, and that because the president's 2 years in office will be soon, they will be dropping their report and most likely will get a review of ministerial performances as they speak right now, according to the same Olofofo. The head of the unit, Hadiza Bala, is presently reviewing each of the submitted reports from all the ministries on their performances and projects under them. And so she will now collate it and then give president. We most likely might see a presidential, a ministerial review or shake of cabinet.
Okay, let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.